Okay, y'all. So listen, I got another video today. So now this is for all the skeptical people. This video is mainly for astrology skeptics, right? And this video is also for people who like always have something to actually to say about astrology, and knowing damn well they don't really know anything about astrology. You understand that? They don't really know anything about astrology outside of just Google, right? And the stuff that they Google be surface level, and they just take the surface level things and run with it, right? So here today in this actual video, I'm going to, and listen, this is my blog post too, right? Go ahead and follow me, right? This is the blog name, Rex Kain blogspot, right? So I got a plenty of different vlogs on here. Listen, matter of fact, let me show y'all. I got plenty of different vlogs on here, man. I got plenty of different vlogs for everybody, right? The things that you may want to know, I'm pretty sure I got something there. If you want to know something, I'm pretty sure I got something there. But now, I just really want the skeptic to understand. This is the main question I'm always hearing. Astrology can't show you everything. We have this, we have that, and also, and listen, go watch the video before this one. My one about free will, right? Being an illusion, and how astrology and tarot and numerology can kind of disprove that in a lot of ways, right? And like I said, illusion does not mean that free will doesn't exist and it's not fake. I'm just saying it doesn't exist in the way that you all think that it actually does, right? But now let's go ahead and get right into it. So now, skeptics, this one is for y'all. So now, astrology can't show you everything, right? That's me question. Are you sure? So now astrology can see everything, you just can't, right? So now let's make something clear. Just because you haven't seen astrology reveal murderers, racists, or psychological patterns doesn't mean it can't. It just means that you've never been in the presence of someone who knows how to read it, right? So now, most people who say astrology can't show you everything are basing that belief on pop horoscopes, right? So now you got Instagram memes. They got shallow readings from people that never even went beyond the sun sign, right? I'm gonna give you a prime example. You got people still telling me I'm a Virgo sun. I don't act like a Virgo sun. Look at all this other shit that you got. What? Matter of fact, look at all this other stuff that you have, right? So of course they don't understand. That's what I'm saying. So now, real astrology is not for the mass minded anyway, right? So now, real astrology, like Vedic, Hellenistic, you know what I'm saying, Persian or otherwise, it's actually an occult science, right? And that means hidden. So now, it's hidden because listen, it's hidden not because it's meant to be elitist, right? But because most people don't have the depth, the focus, or the discipline to receive it, right? Because if it was truly just elitist, we wouldn't have it just open to the public domain like we do now. But there are elitists that do understand this shit I'm talking about, and how to manipulate the world and governmental energies to get exactly what they want with astrological rituals, sacrifice, man, so much stuff that go into astrology outside of just reading birth charts. If y'all only knew. So now, we live in an age of instant gratification, right? So now you think people who can't sit through a 2 minute video will read text like the Brihat Samhita, right? Or the Sirius Adunta, or even the Tetrabiblos. And those are ancient astrological books, right? There are surviving manuscripts into this current modern day age, right? People don't even know about all that. Most astrologers don't even know what the tetrabiblos is. Most tropical astrologers, they don't even know what the tetrabiblos is. They really don't even know what these other two books I just named are. They don't know that at all, right? So now you think someone trained to seek dopamine hits from swiping can access subtle karmic diagnostics. No, they'll never see it, not because astrology fails, but because they lack the initiatory conscience to even enter the room. So the thing about it is astrology can see violence, right? Addiction, madness, greatness, but you have to know where to look. And the ancient masters, y'all, they didn't just write Instagram captions or Google posts like, okay, no. This a lot of this stuff is what people are coming up with on their own, right? From their own understanding how they view the stuff, right? Which some of that stuff I even agree with, but a lot of this stuff I'm like, hell no, you just made that up, and that don't even make sense, right? So now the ancient people, they wrote algorithmic codes, right, for human potential and danger before modern psychiatry existed at all, right? Like, for example, Rahu and Mars together, shadow aggression, Ketu first house, disembodied selfhood, Saturn ruling third house plus a malefic influence. Desensitized speech, cold logic, real talk. D60 charts, past life karmic echoes manifesting into the current personality. Hashtag Varga Dashas, when these karmas activate. So now think of the whole thing as an encrypted software. The violent thoughts, the narcissistic impulse, the traumatic fuel racism, they were encoded at birth, just waiting for the right life condition to trigger them. Why do you think we have people that do everything? Y'all, I want you to understand astrology is a reflection of every single thing, period. You just never been taught it like that, right? Most people aren't deep enough to even tell you this. I read the ancient texts, and some of them could probably even be, you know what I'm saying, altered to a little bit. But check this out. You want to know how I know the majority of it's not because I have to use it in birth chart reading practice to tell you about you, your life, the past, the present, and the future. So even though some of the texts, I don't trust history at all. I don't trust no surviving manuscripts because people then alter them to fit narratives and agendas. But I put astrology into work to see, okay, does this stuff actually work? Does it actually make sense, right? Will I actually get real world results? You understand that? That's what I want everybody to understand, right? So that's how I look at it, right? So a lot of people don't understand, yeah, racist people, it's in their chart. People who don't believe in anything, that's in their chart. You just don't know, you just don't understand. I don't know if that's what it is. Not only do you not know and you don't understand, I'm gonna just keep it 100% honest with y'all. A lot of y'all try to challenge it very aggressively and angrily. I don't understand why you be doing it. I really think it is because you're just not intellectual enough to truly understand it, right? Even if you're intellectual enough to read it and say, I comprehend and say this should do this, but I don't think that this mean that. That's what I mean. You can read and understand the context of how it makes sense and what it's talking about, but you don't understand how did it really applies in a solid influence in real life and it really, really matters, right? You don't understand that part, right? So now this doesn't mean people don't have free will, but it means that, but it does mean that pattern energy signatures exist and they can be read. Understand that, right? Everybody has a signature life. Your ascendant shows the signature life. What's the life identity? Whatever zodiac signs in your rising sign, that's what it is. I don't feel like I'm a Virgo. Okay, do you have malefic planets in Virgo? Understand that. Do you have certain things aspecting Virgo? Matter of fact, where does Virgo go into these different charts? Right? We got to look at so many things to manifest. You think anybody got time to read all this and understand what every single chart mean? Look at this. Look at this. They don't know what none of this, and then every single chart you see, some of the stuff you can't even find for free on the internet. Some of this stuff you got to actually take classes. Y'all probably never seen the North and the South node come together in any birth chart. A lot of y'all, especially if you're a tropical person, y'all might be like, that's incorrect because you don't even know that this is a whole different astrology from what you've learned, right? I'm just saying, right? So now, the real problem isn't astrology, it's the human filter. People say, well, no one predicted that. Really, or were you just listening to the wrong people? So now you want to ask a middle school biology teacher to do heart surgery, right? So why do people assume that every astrologer has the skill to diagnose karmic pathology? Every astrologer is not skilled. I believe Vedic astrology is times 10 way better than just basic tropical astrology, right? But I know a lot of tropical, well, no, not a lot. I know few tropical astrologers that can be a lot of Vedic astrologers, right? You might be like, well, that's confusing, but yeah, because I'm a top Vedic astrologer, right? So lower Vedic astrologers versus high end tropical astrologers, the high end tropical astrologers still gonna destroy them when it comes to reading and getting stuff from their astrologers, right? I'm just keeping it honest, right? So now, but the highest tropical astrology and the highest tropical astrologer versus the highest Vedic Jyotish astrologer, it's a wrap for that tropical astrologer. They both equal in skill because Vedic astrology got so man, it got so much stuff. Man, they're gonna really come with it, especially when they start to get into the deities and gods. It's gonna come with it. So 99% of people doing astrology aren't trained beyond the basics, right? They skim charts, they interpret superficially. Oh, your Venus is in Pisces. I mean, you love water. You love emotions. They're gonna say something like that or whatever. You got big Venus in Pisces energy. It's just weird stuff. Like, what that even mean? They don't do time triggers with dashes. They don't even know what a D60 chart is. They're like, what is that? So I just feel like I can't speak on nothing that I haven't fully, really, really delved deep into, for real, for real. Especially something that they take a lot of, like, ultimate critical thinking and logical, practical understanding and reading. Man, I don't want to say that. So when someone says astrology didn't work, what they're saying is I entrusted sacred diagnostics to someone who didn't know how to use the machine. That's all it is, right? So now, deep astrology can read the dark. Ancient astrology texts mapped out yogas for violence, corruption, and unethical conduct centuries before modern psychology even existed, right? You got killer planets, right? You got cruel lords. You got karmic predispositions to cruelty or extremism. So now, you want racism? You got afflicted speech, logic, and cruel nakshatras plus Saturn, Mars influence, third house, 11. You want cold-blooded killers? Look at Mars Rahu conjunction sometimes. Real talk. Ketu in the first house with no benefic aspect or heavy 6/8 house aggression. In Vedic astrology, there are 16. Oh, I meant to put initial chart. So one chart may not show you what you want, but another one will, right? And that's what I was saying. You got, man, this, but you don't even know how to read them. So now, if the patterns there, you'll know what it look. If the invisible force, their behavior, if the invisible before their behavior ever manifests in the real world, real talk. But it's like no astrologer can see that. That's just wrong. Most can't. Only a few can, right? That's why this is called sacred knowledge. It's really not meant for everybody. It's only meant for the people who it's meant for. They can truly understand it and do good with it. Honestly, right? So now, just like not every doctor is a neurosurgeon, right? Not every chart reader is built for forensic level diagnosis, right? So now, give a CT scan to someone untrained, they see nothing. Give a birth chart to a skeptic, they also see nothing. That's not failure of the chart; it's failure of the interpreter, right? High level charts, right? Like the yearly charts, the Vargas system, the Doctor transits, the Aruda. For the image, come on now, Graha Drishti, for psychological pressure, y'all don't even understand what these calibrations really truly mean, right? So astrology isn't vague. You're just not equipped for precision in general, right? So there is evidence, right? So I can't say his last name, but Michael Guaquelin, I hope I'm probably best his name. Well, he did statistical research found that Mars was rising or accumulating in the birth charts of professional athletes at the rate too high for chance, right? And guess what? Jupiter ruled or Saturn ruled politicians, scientists. Exactly what astrology said for centuries, right? Even skeptical scientific communities replicated parts of the data and didn't like the results, so they buried them, right? It's not that astrology never shows proof. It's just some people just don't want to accept it. Understand that. And some people can simply try to prove you wrong by just lying. They can say, read me then. Never read a person's birth chart who's trying to prove you wrong, right? Especially if they're aggressively trying to prove you wrong, right? Because you can say something that's real, and they feel like, well, just they can't really know it 100% because they went around me, so I can just tell them him or her no, and now they're gonna feel like shit because they wrong, and I'm proving them wrong. I'm proving them that astrology's wrong the whole time. It's really right. I just hate it, and I hate astrology, and I don't like them, and people do stuff just like that, right? Forensic astrology is real, right? Modern astrologers have used charts to narrow down the crimes that have happened, predict what kind of person committed it, help law enforcement find missing persons. So Carol Lully, Dave Campbell, and others have detailed hundreds of cases without fanfare, without YouTube hype, because real astrologers don't need spotlight to prove accuracy, right? The chart sees before the world does, right? So Mars with Rahu, Saturn with Ketu, Mercury combusts in the eighth. These show underlying tendencies like red flags in the soul software, right? So now the absence of evidence does not equal evidence of absence, right? The fact that most of the society has never seen this depth doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It means they've never had the eyes to see it or the humility to really study it, right? You don't get to dismiss a sign just because you're unfamiliar with its higher applications, period, right? So now astrology isn't the problem. Untrained, egoic, or shallow minds are. The birth chart is the most advanced psychological, spiritual, and karmic map on earth. It can see violent impulses, ethical weaknesses, spiritual greatness, or fame before it happens, right? It sees the karmic depths, dark motives, and where a person might fall from grace, right? But not everyone can read those codes. So next time someone says astrology can't show you everything, get through with this. No, you can't see everything. The map is perfect. You just haven't learned to read the language of the stars, and that's just the truth, right? And I just wanted to come in and discuss that, right? So listen, y'all, I want you to understand. Like, listen, most people just read this one birth chart. Listen, if you get the career wrong in this birth chart, you need to look at another birth chart. If you get the health wrong in this birth chart, you need to look at another birth chart. If you get the parents wrong in that birth chart, you need to look at another birth chart. That's what I'm saying. This not no just 100% psychic science. You got to really use your brain and understand that there is a rubric or a curriculum guide behind deep ancient astrology to help you understand these things. But if you don't know it, if you don't want to accept it, it's just what it is. But thank y'all for tuning in. Like I said, follow me on all my social media platforms. Understand that matter of fact. Matter of fact, let's go to some flame names astrology real quick. Let's see if we can find some. Let's go to read more. Oh my God! Now I know y'all see that. Now it don't want to work. Let's see. Open link a new tab. Let's see. Okay. Hopefully it come up. Yes. Hopefully it come up. Yes. Like I said, listen. If you all want to see my reviews from Facebook, here you go. Go right here. Look at my reviews. You can see my prices. You can see a lot of stuff right there. Oh, it's going all slow and stuff. There you go. Yeah, here we go. Right here. Look at this. It's going a little bit slow, y'all. But yeah, my prices, all that stuff, yeah. So come and check me out, right? But other than that, I will talk to y'all later. Peace.